Oregon PubTalk. Central Oregon PubTalk, pardon me. I'm Shannon Kelly. I'm your MC for tonight. I'm thrilled to be here with you on this early pop of spring little teaser that we're getting. Don't put your snow boots away just yet. But today we'll enjoy it while we can. Welcome to Pub Talk. I'm here today thanks to OSU Cascades, and I want to say thank you to Worthy for hosting us again this month, and of course Hand in Hand Productions for the multi-room stream. I do have some open seats in the front. If anyone out in the hall is interested in joining us, we do have some space for you. I want to also say thank you to our Pub Talk title sponsors for making Pub Talk a reality every month, and we'd like to welcome them up on stage one at a time. First up, Jordan Smith from VLOX Systems. Where are you, Jordan?
Hey, good morning, good evening, Pub Talk. How's it going? Couple things. First of all, this is a good turnout. It's a beautiful evening. Thank you, EDCO, for putting this on. Thank you, Worthy, for having us, and everyone that's participating and getting this event going. So, super excited. The shades are a nice touch. Is that for the video? That's cool. Hey, I wanted to announce two things. So number one, VLOX Systems is now becoming CMIT Solutions. So we actually got the opportunity to join up with a really great IT company that had an office here in Bend, but we're taking on that Bend operation and bringing that into our fold at VLOX Systems, and then we are becoming CMIT Solutions here in Central Oregon. So if you see any, thank you. Yeah, no, it's very exciting. I'm a little nervous up here saying it. I'm in all black in honor of the brand that we will be leaving to move into CMIT Solutions. And so, yeah, so thank you guys, and that is very exciting. If you get communication from me, it will be probably from VLOX Systems for a little while, and then move to being from CMIT Solutions, and then that will be kind of the permanent thing, so just a heads up there. The other thing I want to announce is we have our this quarter's cybersecurity workshop. This is really exciting. So at 10 Barrel Brewing on the east side, my apologies to our present company venue, but we're having a workshop on understanding the human element of cybersecurity and threat. So what we're going to do is talk about social engineering and how someone in person can kind of make their way through your office or manufacturing facility or building to get kind of past the entry gate, the gatekeeper, the front desk, and through into like sensitive areas within the organization, the data room, the kind of the bullpen, the offices, that sort of thing. So we're going to go through those scenarios as a group and talk about, okay, how do we prevent this person from going past the front desk, right? And we're going to talk about all of that. And then, okay, they got past the front desk, so now how do we keep them from going to the IT room and all of that? So that'll be really fun. There will be beer provided. So it starts at 2:30 in the afternoon, which is just on the front end of being okay to start day drinking while you're working. So please scan that QR code to come join us. It'll be fantastic fun. And I'll pass this on to the next. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jordan. Congratulations. I feel like Emma James is going to be very proud of this big transition that you're making. Okay, next up, we have Julianne Horner of Providence Health Plan. Julianne, I know you have something very important to speak to us about this month.
Hello, everyone. Julianne from Providence Health Plan. And each month I come up and talk to you about the national initiatives that we have for health. And this one is near and dear to my heart. It is the American Heart Association. There is no pun in that either. American Heart Association and Providence do amazing work together on education, fundraising, and just plain knowledge on heart health. And this is the month. This is the month of heart health. But my ask of you is to make your heart the most important thing every single month, and that you know how to help someone who is having heart issues. You should know the signs, which are vast for women and men, being very different, as well as for yourself. Make sure that you don't get yourself to a very particular point where you could have caught it way ahead. So please, I encourage you to go out to our website or the American Heart Association, learn about heart health, get a heart health diet, really be focused in on that, because we know without the heart, there's not a lot else out there. So good luck. Get that heart checked. Thanks.
Thanks, Julianne. It's so true. And as you said, very different symptoms for men and women. That is important. Great resources coming out of the AHA, so check it out. Next up, we have Jennifer Cranford from Kernot Stokes. Jennifer, come on down.
Good evening. It is nice to see so many people here considering how nice the weather is outside. My name is Jennifer Cranford, and I am a partner with Kernot Stokes in our virtual accounting department. Kernot Stokes is a CPA firm, so we offer anything from tax preparation services, financial statements, employee benefit plans, virtual accounting, and consulting. And we've been around for 80 years. Our main office is in Eugene, and we have offices in Bend and Corvallis as well. So that time of year where everybody is kind of thinking about tax information and preparation, so be good to your CPA and get your information in on time. So thank you all. We're excited to partner with EDCO this year with sponsoring and being a sponsor for the PubTalk. So look forward to meeting some local business owners and enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Jennifer, I want you to know that just last night I was putting all my things in separate little folders, and so in about 17 months I'll be ready to go. Okay, next up, Emma James from Roselle Wealth Management. Come on up, Emma.
I know. I have groupies. Good evening, everybody. Did anyone else get the memo that today is the first day of spring? I did. My name is Emma James. I am a financial advisor and partner at Roselle Wealth Management. We specialize in helping business owners maximize the sale of their businesses so that they can ultimately live financially independent and free. For the business owner who successfully grows their business, maybe they bring on a partner or two, it's pretty common for them to take out a life insurance policy on key people in their business. Now, when it comes time to sell, what do you think they do with that policy? They forget about it. Exactly. And I'm here to tell you that is probably one of the biggest mistakes and one of the most overlooked assets that a business owner has is their existing life insurance that they have within the business. There's potential to sell that on the open market for a significant amount of money. And I just want to give you a quick example. We were working with a business owner who had a $5 million term that he had taken out as a key person in his business. He comes to sell and he doesn't need it anymore. But we told him, you know what you do need? You need a life insurance policy to cover that Oregon estate tax that you're going to have when you die. So what we did is we made sure $2 million of that policy was kept aside for that estate planning purpose. We sold the rest of $3 million, got him $130,000. That money, that chunk of change, paid for the now new permanent policy to cover the estate tax. So now he walks away, not with zero things in his pocket, but now a really nice estate plan. So I'm here to share that with you because not a lot of people know that this is a strategy available to them, which is why we have a few educational offerings for you guys. If you look over here, we're doing an event in March on how the strategy actually works. It's an hour, it's free, you get CE credit if you're a CPA or an attorney. And I told Jordan I will go to his cybersecurity training if he goes to my life insurance one. And we're both really fun, so you just come to all of it. But if you're a little bit more shy, we do have some books. Our partners Rodney Cook and David Roselle wrote a book on it. And there's some circulating around, and there's some flyers. So if you're eager to get one, come find me.
Thanks, Emma. Thank you. Always so helpful. Our next title sponsor is Best and Krieger. They regret being unable to join tonight. And I got to say, it's just not the same without Kurt. But they do send a huge thanks to EDCO for all of its referrals and a huge thanks to all of you for making BBK first for your legal needs, whether it's for business or employment law, environmental or trust, and estates, litigation, or land use. Kurt will be back next month. He promises to bring a giveaway. So we'll just look forward to that. Let's give a hand to all of our title sponsors: Kernot Stokes, Providence Health Plans, Roselle Wealth Management, Best and Krieger, and of course, Velox Systems, soon to be CMIT. These partners make PubTalk a reality, and we're so grateful. So how about an update on the economic development efforts from EDCO CEO John Stark? Mr. Stark, come on down. We really need a theme song for John.
Don't you mean come on up?
Come on up.
Come on up.
Get up here.
What's up, PubTalk Nation? Hey, glad you guys all made it out on a beautiful sunny Bend evening. I'm probably fortunate this is the second beautiful evening. If it had been the first, we may not have had as many people. But how about a round of applause for all you guys that did come out tonight? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Thank you for coming. How many of you are aware we're in session at the state legislature right now? 6,000 bills. Ouch. Well, we're tracking about 200 of them, and priority bills for us, about 60. And there's a couple that are on our radar this week, one of which is kind of not so good that I want to bring to your attention. So 2 bills that we're watching this week, one for employers, SB 176, would make it unlawful for employers to take any employment action against an employee testing positive for THC, otherwise known as marijuana. It's tucked into the bill, and it's a cannabis bill that they're trying to make some corrections on and create some new laws, but they tuck this provision into the bill, and that's not a good thing for our manufacturing employers. And so we've been spreading the word through a number of HR companies here this week, and not good legislation. So if you're concerned about employing workers in hazardous places, or you're going to be employing a worker that may be running equipment, you might want to get engaged in this, or you have a policy against THC, you might want to get engaged in this and call your legislator. On a positive note, let's change it to that. One of the other bills we're watching very closely, and we've written several letters of support, even some testimony on House Bill 2411. It creates a new fund to help fund infrastructure for large lot and industrial projects. And we've got a ton of land that needs infrastructure throughout Central Oregon, Juniper Ridge and Redmond, the South Redmond Track, Juniper Ridge and Bend, the South Redmond Track in Redmond, some property coming online in Madras and other places that need infrastructure. So we're advocating at the state level to help us with that infrastructure so we don't have to pass all of that along to developers. And then changing subjects off the legislature, you've probably seen a couple of new faces around at EDCO. Ellen Waite, who's in the backside of the other room there, is our new marketing director. And then Brenna Fulks has become our Jefferson County director. And so we're super excited to re-engage that program. We've had some of that in our newsletters, but I want to take a moment to thank a couple of our staffing partners. Some are in the audience, BBSI and Mid-Oregon Personnel Services for helping us with those searches. We can't find top talent the same way these days, and we leverage those staffing companies to help us find that talent. So I just want to have a huge shout out to everybody for that. And then if you haven't seen it, EDCO launched a new website in August. Some of you have probably been on it to book your tickets here tonight. New data, new information, new blog, new look. So please take a spin on that. Obviously, the more traffic on that, the more people outside of Central Oregon get to see EDCO as a place to do business. So please take a run on our website. And again, thank you all for being here. I'm out.
Thanks, John. 6,000 bills, that's sometimes how it feels at my house. You know, they just keep coming in. Yikes. We want to make a huge thank you to all of our EDCO members. EDCO membership underwrites a variety of support and resources, including events just like this one, and efforts to build a prosperous and sustainable economy. If you are not a member, we would like you to strongly consider joining today. And we are pleased to announce our newest EDCO members, A to Z Home Loans. I believe they're here with us tonight. Allied Partners, Bend Redmond Habitat for Humanity, Coin Studios, Evergreen Business Capital, Green Savers, Hobbs Engineering, JGP Wealth Management, who is here as well, Kindred in the house tonight, LRS Architects, Mark Jamnick, Subliminal Story Art is also with us tonight. I mean, if you're in the room, go ahead and hoot and holler if you like. Varsity Real Estate, Walker Structural Engineering, Waste Connections, Cascade Disposal. If you want to hear your business called at PubTalk and learn more about EDCO membership, visit Larry Holman or any of the EDCO team here tonight. Is Larry in the room? Okay, Larry's out in the hall. Find him. Next up, we are thrilled to invite to the Pub Talk stage John Evans, co-founder and CEO of Engel, former global brand president of Keen Footwear. Bringing more than 2 decades of experience in global consumer brands, John leads Engel as CEO and co-founder of the Bend-based software company. Most recently serving as global brand president at Keen Footwear, he spent 12 years as a leader in the outdoor industry, holding key positions at Columbia Sportswear, serving on the University of Oregon Sports Product Management Program Board, and mentoring with Camber Outdoors. Engel transforms how premium brands connect with their customers through a modern Shopify native loyalty platform. Born from firsthand experiences with existing loyalty solutions, their team of veteran brand builders and technologists created the platform they always wished existed. Since their 2024 launch, leading brands including Stussy, Roughwear, and Decade Eyewear have chosen Engel to power their modern loyalty experiences. Welcome back, John. Here you go.
That was a mouthful. Well, thank you, everybody. It's good to be here. So it's a beautiful afternoon, beautiful evening here in Bend. I couldn't be happier to be with you all. Engel is the everywhere loyalty platform. And we're going to talk a little bit tonight about what that means. But when you think about, we can go to the next, do I have a little clicker, I think? Oh, yeah. Thank you. Let's put this down for a second. Perfect. Perfect. So when you think about what that means, loyalty, it's about creating relationships, right? At its core, loyalty is about trust. It's about connecting with one another. And I have a bit of a 20-year history of trying to figure out how that works for brands to connect with their customers. And my hypothesis has been, and I've lived through this, that we've really been trying to get customers to become loyal to us as brands rather than becoming loyal to our customers. And so Engel is trying to take a new position on that problem set. My background has been really about building brands. And most recently, I was at Keen Footwear in Portland, Oregon for the last almost 10 years. Before that, Columbia Sportswear, and through most of my career, working with large-scale enterprise companies and retailers around the world. My co-founder, Michael, has been building software. And so you can kind of see how our powers combined came together in order to tackle this problem. So you look at a brand like Faraday. I don't know if anybody in the crowd here has ever shopped with the brand Faraday. Any show of hands here? Beautiful products, right? I love their products. I own a few myself. But the problem is, Faraday, even though they have 48 retail stores that are just beautiful community building centers, this is how they represent loyalty to their customers today. And this is no different than, I would argue, the way Spirit Airlines represents loyalty to their customers. It's about points, it's about transactions, it's about a one-way relationship. If you look at a brand like Vuori, also a great brand, this is a different way of representing loyalty. It's about connecting in the community with one another, creating spaces where people can do yoga together, to actually do the activities that they inspire people to do. Before, during, even after the transaction, there are opportunities for us to rethink this problem of loyalty. So the way we think about it at Engel is that we're reimagining loyalty from the store out. The store is this beautiful place that brands cultivate relationships and connect with one another. The reality is 83% of retail sales in the world today are happening in the physical space, right? It's not all through the e-commerce channel. My background, most of my career has been about building digital transformations for companies. The next digital transformation that's going to happen is going to be from the retail store out. So how do we think about it? We think about connecting this everywhere journey, okay? If you look at the center of what you see here, it's the phone. It's the thing we have in our pockets, unfortunately, more hours in the day than we would all admit. But the reality is that there's a tool in each of our phones, whether you're on an Android device or an iOS device, called a wallet. And that wallet is a tool that can connect a lot of different experiences together. And so at Engel, one of the things that we've thought about is that we need to use the wallet for brands in order to create new experiences for people to be able to connect. We're doing that at events, at pop-up shops, in retail stores. We're doing that for influencers to connect with their customers and their fans. We're doing it in creating services like the example here for Tecovas, where they have complimentary boot shining services. And ultimately at wholesale doors as well, where there's a real opportunity. Most brands, including the one I most recently represented at Keen, 78% of the people who first discovered the Keen brand came through an REI, came through a Dick's Sporting Goods. They discovered the brand first in a place that we didn't control. So we had to cultivate relationships in those places as well. We're thinking about how to tackle that problem differently. So I'm very proud to represent one of the best brands here in Bend, which is Roughwear. Roughwear took an early bet on Angle and has been one of our best customer case studies. What we've found with Roughwear is we're using a new capability called store credit. Most people who have shopped at a place like REI or, let's say, Costco enjoy this idea of getting cash back, a dividend at some point in time in their shopping journey. And we've taken that same model and applied it into the transactional capabilities for shopping at Roughwear. So every day when you place a purchase on roughwear.com or in their beautiful retail store in Northwest Crossing, you're going to get 10% cash back that you can use on a future purchase. It's not points. It's not some abstract currency that you have to figure out what to do with in the future. It's actual cash sitting in your wallet, represented on your mobile phone that you can bring with you and use. And so what we've seen so far since we launched with them about 4 months ago is we're seeing average basket sizes increasing. People like being able to apply cash in their purchases. We've done that to the tune of 24% increases over what it was previously. We also, for people who have added their wallet passes to their phones, we see that those people naturally are their best customers. They have a 92% higher lifetime value than people who would have normally just been a customer of Roughwear previously. So we're seeing great results starting to emerge from this idea of strengthening the transactional side of the experience. But it's not just the transactional side. Stussy, one of the arguably coolest brands in the world, is doing a very different type of loyalty. They have an interesting problem where people will line up for 4 hours to be able to buy their products. And it's a frustrating experience. And so what we've built for Stussy is the ability for them to create reservable time slots. You can actually find a 15-minute window where you're going to show up. You're going to check in like you're boarding an airplane. You have this VIP experience where you walk in, and they have this full connected journey. So what was a very frustrating experience before has now become a premium experience for Stussy's customers. And we're also finding that upwards of 52% of people that do download their wallet passes and show up are brand new to the brand, which is a big deal for them. In today's day and age, AI is almost a given, right? We all think about it in so many different ways. We look at AI as an enabling tool. How do we look at the customer database of these merchants and help them think differently about the different types of behaviors and shoppers that they have in their database? We're using clustering models and different technologies to look at different cohorts as they become more engaged and become more connected to the brand to help them find patterns and ultimately to connect in a more one-to-one way. So you're not just getting spammed with emails every day, telling you to buy the next greatest thing. It's actually a meaningful connection that you can have with them. And we do a whole lot more too. So we have refer a friend capabilities built into our wallet passes. We support the ability to use your watch as a tool to be able to connect with your audience. And we've built in a full analytics suite to be able to track the success of that. So a lot more to win in the market. So here's the ask. The ask is, all of our traction to date has come organically. It's come from people like yourselves who have told us about a great brand that would be interested in this. If you scan this QR code, that'll take you or your friend that might be interested in Angle to a demo page where we can share the story of what we're doing. And you can see here from Hum Kombucha to Roughwear to Blackstrap, we're already doing a really good job here in Bend, and we'd love to do a great job in Oregon and throughout the world. So appreciate your time and energy to help spread the word. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, this is really cool. So, like, for example, when you were working with Stussy, you came up with this solution that worked for them. So, are you, for each brand, individually thinking through a plan that is tailored to them?
That's right. So we've kind of built a set of primitive tools that we can extend and customize to be what's right for those brands, and built around the mobile wallet, built around this experiential and transactional journey, and then we're kind of filling in the blanks with what kinds of things they might want to create.
How fun. That sounds really cool. Okay, do I have any questions for John? Oh, really? Oh, yes, right here.
Find that there's specific market segments that are already exquisitely loyal.
This is a great question. Do you find that there are specific types of brands in the market that are already like really doing well with the loyalty thing, or that it's important to them? And how are you identifying that? How are you finding them and engaging?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're not the only player in the loyalty space, and a lot of the players that you see today are really taking a pure e-commerce perspective on this problem. What we found is brands that invest in building physical stores, building pop-up experiences, events like Stussy has, they already have this natural community building element that builds brand heat, gets people excited about them. That's why we've built this structure to be for them, because they already have this repeat purchase behavior already built into their customers. Now it's making it easy for them to be able to continue that journey. Right.
Any other questions for John? I love that you used the example of Yuri. They really are doing a beautiful job of putting that community element first, and that they're just like really responding quickly to different things that are going on in their community. I really appreciate that so much. Have you been able to connect with them?
Not directly, indirectly, but
Okay, well, I grew up with Joe, so
oh, did you?
maybe I can help.
There you
Yeah,
go.
maybe I can help.
The whale
Super
right
great guy. Yeah, super great guy. Okay, yes, right here. Yeah, so he's observing that it's mostly looks like it's B2C. Are there any like B2B opportunities within this platform?
Yeah, that's a perfect question. Today we actually kicked off our first B2B customer actually in the workwear, industrial workwear space. So anybody that has, kind of outfitted head to toe, safety footwear, safety, apparel, you'll understand that there's a huge component of vouchers and, kind of safety managers and a whole purchasing cycle built into that. We're working on a concept to be able to make a B2B2C loyalty concept for people to shop both in the B2B environment and then also apply that to their personal shopping behaviors as well. So that's a great, first use case for us that we're tackling.
How are you identifying potential people to or brands to participate in this? And then like how beyond like once you've identified them, how do you choose who to pursue first? I feel like you've probably got a million ideas. So how are you prioritizing that?
Great question. The first thing we did was we said we're only serving Shopify brands. So Shopify, to me, I've spent almost my entire career working in the e-commerce landscape. Shopify is the winner. It's the fastest growing and also becoming the largest player in the space. You're going to see the biggest brands starting to tip over from the Salesforces of the world, et cetera, to leverage the platform. And so that was the first filter is, are they on Shopify? Then the second filter is, do they have the resources to think about building a bigger experience, right? A smaller company, unfortunately, is still trying to find their fit, right? They're trying to get off the ground, figure out if their products resonate. So we're kind of going after the middle to enterprise grade space. And so that gives us a natural filter on the market as well. And then ultimately, do they have a passionate following, right? Do people actually want their products? Are they coming back for their products? Are they multi-use in nature? And so that helps us really focus, and we've been lucky enough to really leverage our friends and community to be able to.
I can tell you, I'm looking at those Vuori performance joggers almost every day. Okay, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really excited, and it's
Thank
great to
you.
hear from you. So I hope you'll come back and check in with us again. And if
I
you
would
want to
love
know more, connect with John and see how you can become a part. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Excellent pitch. Our events just aren't possible without the support of our community partners such as Umpqua Bank and BBSI. Umpqua Bank is a proud sponsor of the EDCO PubTalk series. At Umpqua Bank, our local bankers proudly serve our community by providing the expertise to help build and maintain meaningful relationships. Umpqua Bank, together for better. And for Central Oregon's small and medium-sized businesses striving to scale and succeed in today's competitive landscape, Barrett Business Services, BBSI, stands out as a trusted ally dedicated to fostering growth and operational excellence for their clients. By partnering with BBSI, small businesses can confidently navigate the complexities of business management while focusing on what they do best, driving innovation and serving their customers. Our personalized service and local team empower business owners to make informed decisions, optimize their resources, and achieve their strategic goals. And you can meet with Chris Piper, BBSI's area manager, who is here tonight. Chris, are you in the room? Oh, there he is. So yeah, connect with Chris. He's your guy, and you can learn more. Thanks, BBSI. We have an incredible keynote speaker joining us today, and I really could not be more excited to introduce her to you. Carmen Ohling is the CEO of Amplified Life Company, a holistic life and leadership coach, and a powerhouse when it comes to helping people and businesses reach their full potential. Today, she's here to talk about ROR, return on relationship. In a world where real connections matter more than transactions, Carmen will share how building authentic relationships can drive loyalty, spark innovation, and lead to long-term success. Get ready for some powerful insights that might just change the way you think about business and leadership. Please join me in welcoming Carmen Ohling.
That was so good, Shannon. So good. Yeah, I will. Is someone keeping time for me, or I just brought my phone just for me? Okay. Hi. This is a turnout. I'm surprised I've never been to one of these pub talks before, so thank you for that introduction. In 2012, a young Harvard student had a bold idea. This bold idea was a way to optimize human performance. Now you see, he was a collegiate athlete. He played squash. Anybody ever play squash? It is intense. It's like those walls, you get sweaty, like it's crazy. If you've never played it, it is one of the most intense sports. And so he got relentlessly curious around what would be the things that would optimize human performance. And so we started talking to coaches and athletes and trainers, really asking them, what did they focus on to optimize human performance? And here's what he found. They kept talking to him about the nutrition that they had, about the training that they did, and then he would ask them something different. He would ask them about their challenges. And the biggest challenges that they found that they had were things like not enough sleep, not enough recovery time, too much on their plate, their overall well-being. And this is where his big, bold idea came in, where he wanted to find a way to help these athletes train smarter and recover better. And so he set off to create a wearable device that did just that. There was no other wearable devices on the market that optimized things like sleep and recovery and well-being. He was trying to bring something new to market, and there were other key players. You might know them. Apple, ever heard of that? Or Nike? That's who he was up against. So when he went to investors with this idea, he didn't get yeses. And so you know what he started doing? He started building relationships. You see, his relentless curiosity led him to have the most compelling vision around optimizing human performance in a way that had never been done before. So when he went to these trainers, he told them about it, and they couldn't help but want to be a part of it. They wanted to try it out, and they wanted to wear it. And then guess what they did? They gave it to their clients to try it out as well. And what happened from there is this like grassroots type of marketing that was based all on relationship. Now, the founder that I'm talking about is Will Ahmed. It's Whoop. 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 Mic kind of goes out when I said whoop. Whoop. It's a Whoop wearable band. I'm actually wearing it right now, and it tracks just that. So it's not your step count. It's not just your calories. It's not those types of things. It tracks sleep, HRV, which is heart rate variability, your recovery. And the key to this and what we know in human performance is those are the keys that help us show us as our highest and best. Not just as an athlete, but as a leader, as an entrepreneur, as a human today. If we're not well rested and we're not taking care of our well-being, we're not going to be able to do that. And so he founded this company, Whoop, based off relationships. And if you don't believe me, I'll tell you one more little story about it. About 2 years in, still a little struggling, but working on those relationships with those personal trainers and their athletes wearing the band. He takes the day off. It's a Saturday. He's going to watch a Boston Celtics game. He goes to his parents' house. They turn on the TV. The game's going, timeout. And so naturally, there's commercials on. And he sees this commercial. Anybody know who this is? LeBron James. But that's not the most interesting thing about it. The most interesting thing about it is that if you look at his wrist, he's wearing one of these Whoop bands. Guess what else? LeBron James has never been a sponsored athlete with Whoop. He just believed so much in this product, he wouldn't take it off when he filmed this Kia commercial. That's the power of relationships. So Whoop is now valued at over $1 billion, but it didn't happen overnight. But it happened because the founder was invested in relationships. And relationships can move even faster than money. Yeah, that's right. So let's talk a little bit about what is ROI, return on investment. We've all heard that before. What's your definition of ROI? Someone shout it out. Don't all talk at once. Invest $1, get $2 back, hopefully, maybe more, right? We put something in, we get something out. Here's the thing about ROI. It's short-lived. It's transactional. We might make money in the moment, but over time, returns are going to be dwindling, shortened, maybe even stopped. There's a ceiling on our ROI. But you know what the game changer is? It's your ROR. That's your return on relationship. That's when your currency is trust, loyalty, and connection. Your ROR turns into your multiplier. When you hit this ceiling, then you can rely on your relationships to get to the next level. And if you're thinking, okay, Carmen, that's great for this Harvard student, he got in with LeBron James. What about me here in Central Oregon? Well, I thought of that too, and so I want to share with you practical ways that you can take away how to increase your ROR, how to stop focusing on your ROI and focus on the relationships, whether that be personally or professionally, but it grows both. And it starts with this, your vision. You must have such a compelling vision that people want to be a part of something. It's no longer enough in 2025 to have a business and just to say, buy this widget, buy this service. People don't want to hear buy this, they want to hear be this. They want to be a part of something bigger than themselves, bigger than the product, bigger than the service. Just like what Will was offering with Whoop, it was a brand new way that no one had ever seen before to unlock human performance and raise it to the next level. I mean, can you imagine LeBron James wearing your product without paying him and then not taking it off when he filmed a different Kia commercial? I mean, come on. At our company, The Amplified Life, we do executive coaching and leadership development. We might host some offsite retreat experiences for executives, but that's not what we lead with. And I'll invite you in to our compelling mission, which is as simple as this. It's be the one to show the world how great life truly is. It's so simple, but yet sometimes so challenging. And we know when we work with organizations and we go in there and we show that, you can be the one at home, at work, in your corner of the world, but it creates a ripple. And then when you invite others to that, then together we collectively create a wave. That's our vision. So I ask you, what's your vision for your career, for your business? Can you articulate it in a way that people are intrigued, that they want to join in, that they want more of it, that it turns transactions into relationships? Raise your hand if you're like, I am on point with my vision. Anybody? I'm going to call. Would you be bold enough to come up here? No, you don't. Ready? This is Nick from Danner Consulting.
Hello. So my vision is to help people turn ideas that they invest their hard-earned time and money into and turn it into real businesses. So in particular, engineers have great technical solutions, but need some help turning it into commercial success. So that is my vision from an economic development standpoint, is helping people bring their technology to market and really make it a commercial success.
I like specifically with engineers.
Sure. Yeah.
So you guide engineers to become so dynamic with their expertise that it expands what's possible for themselves and their clients, and you create that ripple and that wave.
Yeah, I think there's an opportunity cost for founders, and they have to focus on a lot of different things. But when it comes to raising funding, they need to prove commercial, viability and success. So it's about helping founders as they're growing with some of the big hurdles that they're going to face to growing their companies.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. Anybody else? Like, yes, we got another one. Okay.
Connect and empower local women in general here in Central Oregon with Deschutes Women in Business.
Thank you. Anybody else really wanting to share?
I help coach people in construction and the trades businesses to improve their people, process, and profit, because they are called not just to employ their people, but they are the backbone of our regions to establish influence over government and economy.
So I love all these, and I love that everybody had spoke up. And I encourage you and I invite you, when you're thinking of your vision, think of the biggest picture possible. Think of what can they join in on versus what is it transactional that I'm offering as a widget or as a service, and create the biggest vision possible. If there were no barriers, what would be possible that people want to come along and join in on? What is that big thing that you're ultimately doing that's on your heart, that is your gift? And so starting with your vision and having a compelling vision that's so strong, people just want to come and learn more. They're intrigued. So we have a number of beliefs at the Amplified Life Company, and our fifth belief is this one that I put up here for you. Your network is your net worth, and it begins where your skill set ends, and it's the catalyst to your next level. Now, there's a few parts into that, but the one that I want to point out for this audience today is that where your skill set ends. Who's really good at saying, I don't know something, I'm not good at that? Anybody really good at that, right? Some of us, right? For a long time, I thought I needed to know everything. And so even if I didn't know something, I'd act like I knew it, and then I'd go and I'd research it and study it, and then I'd try to know it. But what I've learned is relationships, building relationships. Where your skill set ends, their expertise starts, and that's how you get to the next level. When you get stuck, you reach out. And your relationships are the one that really take you there. So let's talk about the second thing. So the first thing to become Whoop-like and get LeBron James to wear your Whoop wearable without even asking, right, is to have a compelling vision. The second thing is really to let go of the idea of networking. In research for this talk, I was watching Will, the Whoop founder, and watching a podcast of him. And he said, I hate networking. And I thought, well, that's interesting because his whole business is built on relationships. But what he meant by that is my second point up here, and the second elephant in the room is how many people have gone to the networking event and you come home and you have a pocket full of business cards, no real deep, meaningful relationships. I've been there. How many people have talked themselves out of going to a networking event for that reason? So maybe they missed out on an opportunity. I've been there. And so what he was saying, and what I invite you all to start thinking about, is places like this, like pub talks and other places that we might think of as networking events. I want you to start thinking of them as relationship builders. Where are you at right now in this season of your life and your business? Because the first elephant in the room is often we're saying yes to too many things. And over the decade of working with founders and executives and entrepreneurs, I ask them often how they're feeling, and they tell me that they're often overwhelmed and they have too much on their plate. And what I've found is that they're not super clear on their vision on where they're going. So they're saying yes to everything and everyone that looks like a good opportunity, and it's exhausting. And so when you call out the elephant in the room on number one, you give yourself permission to only say yes to the things that are aligned with you right now. It can be challenging at times, but it can sound something like, thank you so much for thinking of me. I'm honored. I don't have capacity to do that right now. But understanding and gaining clarity on where you're at and where you're going, so you can use that as your flashlight and your guiding light of saying yes or no. And then the second thing is to getting in rooms like this where people want to build relationships, where they know that relationships matter, where they know that when they put the time, energy, and resources in today, even if they don't see a return today, in the future, sometime in the future, they'll see it. Because return on relationship is really the long game versus transactional being the short game. And the third thing that I wanted to mention up here, does anybody work remotely or hybrid? So I've been doing this little mini study. So it basically consists of, I live in Miami Beach. I go to this little bougie gym there, and I'll sit in the infrared sauna. And anybody that's a leader or an executive, I ask them if they have a remote team. And when they do, I start asking them a variety of questions around the effectiveness of their team in person versus now being virtual and hybrid. What do you think I've found? Any ideas? Less effective. So here's the one thing that I found. It was time and time again, the first thing they started with was, well, we're still meeting our goals. And I'm like, interesting. They start with that. And so I start asking more questions. And what it turns out is that they are less innovative, less creative, low energy, and here's the big thing, high turnover. High turnover. So if we're saving money on infrastructure, on a location, but we have high turnover, what is your number one expense as a business owner? Right. And so then I start talking about, well, what's your vision? They don't have a clear, compelling vision. Do you think if they had a clear, compelling vision, no matter what, if they're virtual in person, that could help? That could possibly help do more than just meet our goals? We could create a culture that was human-centered, focused. We could build relationships. We could have loyalty. We could grow our employees from the ground up. Yeah, we could. And so I would encourage you today, if you're still working remote or hybrid, to look at that. Are you being a compelling leader? Are you being a dynamic leader? Maybe bring people in for what would you call it? An on-site, because it's no longer an off-site, because everybody's off-site, for once a quarter. Do a think tank. Get them excited again. Share the vision. Have them be innovative and creative. Tell them specifically how they're making a difference for your organization based on that vision. They're a part of something bigger. That'll make a difference. So if you still don't believe me that relationships are the most important, I want to talk to you a little bit about the longest study of human health and happiness. It's still being conducted to this day. It's being done by Harvard, and it started in 1938 with a group of Harvard men that were graduates, and they started following their lives, and then generationally they followed. Maybe some of you have heard of this study before, and they're still following those generations after that. So it's men and women and children and all of that. And they did things. They learned about their nutrition and their health habits. They learned about their debt and their finances and their stress and their jobs and their recreation. And they were trying to figure out what was this key tie that each one of these people had when they answered their survey, that they were the healthiest and they were the happiest. And you might think it's reaching a certain amount of success or having the home or the family that they wanted. And here's what it was. True fulfillment is the quality of your relationships. And I'm making an emphasis on the word quality because I remember a time prior to this company that I founded. I worked for JP Morgan for 16 years, and I remember a time I was often too busy, or I would do it later or do it next week to not build meaningful relationships. Anybody with me? Ever been there? You have all the intentions to that business card that you got at the networking event, which we're calling a relationship building experience now. Let me change that. That you have all the intentions to set the coffee date, to do the email, to make the connection, but you don't ever do it. So again, I implore you, I invite you to join us and be the one to show the world how great life is. So when you leave here today, if you've made a connection, you said you're going to reach out, reach out. Be the one to set up the event. Be the one to make the phone call, because nobody is going to do it for you. You have to be the one. But when you start doing that, magic happens. So I told you earlier that I lived in Miami Beach. Less than a year ago, I started building relationships here in Bend. So raise your hand if you have a relationship with me or you're building a relationship with me just over this last year. So look around, and I could tell you about all of these people intimately. I have deep, meaningful relationships with them, and I give as much as I receive. So if you saw them and they have your hand up, you can, check me on that. But it's so important. That's why I'm on this stage right now, because I started building relationships. What can I give back? So, why this matters to your business. I thought this was an important slide that I had my team put together, because if you still don't believe me, based on LeBron James wearing the whoop, based on my relationships in this room, based on the Harvard study of health and human happiness that says quality relationships are true fulfillment to your life and your business, let's just go to some facts. Companies with highly engaged employees outperform their competitors by 147%. How would you like to outperform your competitor by 147%? Loyal customers are worth 10 times more than their first purchase. You can only move from transaction to more purchases through relationship. 10 times more. Organizations with strong cultures experience 4 times more growth. And strong cultures start with what? Strong relationships, a compelling vision. And here's the thing about those compelling visions that I did not mention. If you're not compelled first yourself, you got to go back to the drawing board. If I stood up here and said, well, I want to invite you all to be the one to show the world how great life truly is, you'd be like, cool. But I'm so compelled myself. I could talk about it all day long, and we could talk about how that's applicable in your life, in your business. So strategic relationships with peers, mentors, and industry leaders open doors that talent and hard work can't alone. And a strong reputation within your community attracts opportunities even before you ask for them. Attracts opportunities even before you ask for them. Because guess what? You're showing up in a meaningful way. So here we go. So where are you at with this? If you want to know, like, let me do a little checklist on where I'm at in a business audit with relationships. You can feel free to text me relationships at this number, and I'll send you a little checklist. I will also send you 20 relationship building questions. And what I mean by relationship building questions, it's more like, what do you do? How was your day? How about the weather? Was it beautiful weather? Right? They're relationship questions that make you one of the most interesting people in the room because you don't have to have all the answers. But if you ask all the questions, everybody's going to be intrigued because guess what? People want to be seen and heard. And you know how it makes you feel when you leave somewhere and people have been seen and heard? You feel really freaking amazing. So here we go. Return on investment is the short game. Return on relationship is the long game. Society tells us that everything needs to be fast, fun, and easy, and if it's not, then it's not for us. But I'm here to tell you that the long game is where it's at. Transactions with ROI can make you money. Relationships will build wealth, and wealth is far more than just money. It's not about feeling good. It's not about saying, oh, I'm building relationships and some feel-good initiative. This is the competitive advantage that nobody's talking about. Again, it's not buy this, it's be this. It's join us on a mission that's bigger than you, bigger than me, bigger than all of us. And it could just be a simple product like this wearable that tells me how I'm going to perform the next day because how I slept or how I trained the day previous. The end of the day, the people you invest in when you choose to be the one, those are the people that are going to show up for you the next day. And we all are shaking our heads and saying, yes, 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 I know. But the biggest thing to take away from this is taking that one next step. So if you're the one that was like me, that was waiting, oh, I'm going to wait to make that call. I'm going to wait to make that connection. I have to get this perfect first. Just start building the relationships today. Move from the short game of transactional to the long game because ROR is the new ROI. And I invite you all today to be the one to show the world how great life truly is through building relationships and building your bottom line. Thank you. Is anybody hot in here? I am like sweaty.
It's warm.
Is like
But also, you were like bringing the heat, so I do want to point that out. I think I might have been distracting because everything you said, I was like, I'm over here in the corner being a distracting person. This was so powerful.
Thank you.
I think you really covered a lot of very important things that many people in the room can identify with. I wonder if you could maybe talk a little bit about, you mentioned early in your talk, so many leaders, so many business leaders, entrepreneurs, they feel overwhelmed. They describe that they feel burnt out. And that's kind of like the first step. That's like the stop the madness step. So how do you coach people to get from that place to a place where they can be aware that they want to build the relationships?
Mm-hmm. That's a really great question. Is anybody out there right now where you're kind of feeling overwhelmed, but you know you need to make a change so you can have capacity to build relationships? Because yeah, we have to have capacity. So if we're speaking to leaders in specific, the thing that I would do is start implementing what is the 80-20 rule, Pareto's principle, and how I like to implement it is to do a really big brain dump of all the things that you have to do during the day. This sounds very remedial with all the technology that we have, but here's the thing, it's on our calendar, but it's still in our head. When it's in our head, it's taking our energy down. And it's really not about time, it's about energy. So we want to be cultivating our energy. So we want to do a big brain dump of all the things that we do every day. And then we want to look at that list and ask these 3 questions. Does it need to be done? How many times are we doing things that actually don't need to be done? We've just always done them. The second thing is, does it need to be done this week? If it doesn't need to be done this week, plan procrastination, schedule it at a later time. Now you're left with a list of things that need to be done this week and have to be done. And then you ask, does it need to be done by me? And that's the hardest part because often, oh, it's just easier if I do it. But the things that you're going to pick are the things that only you can do and that give you energy. So for example, making this presentation, I did not make this presentation, I will tell you that, because that does not give me energy, but my assistant, she's great at it. And you know what I told her when I got this back? Thank you so much. We're going to be impacting the lives of like 30 to 100 people with this presentation, sharing the importance of relationship. You're making a difference. We're making a ripple. We're being the one. So I tie it back to the compelling vision, but you need to dwindle that down. Start delegating, start letting things off. So then you have only the things that you can do and you have capacity.
Oh, I love that. I love that. The things that give you energy. It's pretty clear which things do and do not do that. Questions for Carmen. I mean, I have a lot more questions.
Everybody's like,
but
I'm sweaty.
It is warm in here. Yes, in the back. John. How do you leverage technology tools to help us build relationships? Is a great question.
So in our company, we have one project management tool that we use, and it's called Asana. And so we use it for some forms, and then it automatically flows into Asana, and then it automatically populates into like our list that we have. I am also really old school, and I write things down, and then I save it in an Excel spreadsheet in a Dropbox file folder because I can access it on my phone. I use Blink for business cards. Has anybody used that before? So the cool thing about Blink is that if someone gives you their business card, then you can put notes on it, which is awesome. So if you meet someone tonight and they do your Blink card, which is just a scan, then what you can do is you can say, okay, I met at the pub talk, and then you can write those interesting things because you were asking intriguing questions that you learned about them. So when you follow up with them to see if they do want to go on that lunch or collaborate on that next thing that you're doing, then you can remember those things and you can bring them back up again. So that's what we do. I'm sure there's other tools out there, but those are the ones that we use.
It's so helpful. Just last night, I was like cleaning my little credenza, and I was like, whose business, like, who is this person? And I genuinely felt bad about that because usually I remember, but
well, because
nobody here, obviously.
If you just put it into your phone, then it's just lost with all the other numbers and you forget about it. So it needs to go on a different list somewhere. And I think simple is the best. So whatever simple thing that you have access to, use that because you're going to use it. If it's complicated, you're not going to use it.
Can confirm. Yeah. I can confirm on that. Any other questions for Carmen? Yes, in the back.
Yeah. I'm sorry, what's your name? And that was John from EDCO. What's your name and who are you representing?
I'm Carter with the Oregon Frontier Innovation Hub. We love Carter.
So I work across 10 counties, and when the nature of the work is just over a really vast area, besides like, seeing them every now and then and sending them an email, once a month, do you have any insight into when the nature of the work is virtual?
Yeah, I love this. I love this question. So he works over like a huge territory. So when the nature of the work is virtual, how do you have any tips for how to manage that and how to make it more meaningful?
Yeah. I could give you a lot of tips, which you've probably heard before, but I'm going to give you this one. So one of the things that's really going to grow your ROR is sharing your own thought leadership. So gather everybody in a place like this and share the thought leadership from your organization and gather them in person. You're going to build relationships more than you've ever built in your whole entire career because you're not selling anything. You're just sharing something that they can take away that's valuable for all those organizations in Central Oregon that you work with. And it's like a little mini mastermind too. They get to talk to each other, they get to learn, they get to connect with you, and they get to look forward to it. I mean, I could have told you, I write handwritten notes. I keep specific notes so everybody gets birthday cards. I keep specific notes on things that are happening and I make sure to ask about them. All those things that you can do. But again, you have to ask the right questions up front to be able to elicit that information. But thought leadership is a big thing. You can even get people together in Zoom around a thought leadership. But if you can get people in person, you see that there's a big key. It's going to be dramatically different for you and your business.
Okay, so Carter, you're having a conference and I know a great MC. Let's talk.
You're having a conference?
Any any other questions for Carmen? Okay, I mean, I could talk with you all night. I
Thank
think
you,
this is
Shannon.
great. I actually do have another question. So, how do you, like, what can you tell us? How do you manage your energy? Because I see what you're doing and it's very impressive. And how are you getting enough sleep? How are you showing up and having enough space for yourself to take care of yourself? Like, give me a little of this.
So I'm probably one of the most disciplined people that you've ever met, and I love systems. So, for example, I live in Miami Beach. I'm here for the week, being here with all of you and working with some clients that are in the room here. So thank you for coming. And I stay at the Residence Inn because there's a full kitchen. I actually cook my food there. I go to the grocery store, I buy it. I don't eat out. What happens often when you travel, you eat out, and then you start feeling bad. I know if I nourish my body, I'm gonna feel good. I needed to stay in the East Coast time zone, so I've been waking up at 4 a.m., getting to bed early, trying to go to bed at 8 p.m. so I get plenty of rest. I work out every morning. I drink a gallon of water every day. I meditate and pray and journal every day. This sounds like a lot, but these are all things that I've built over time that help me be my highest self. It doesn't always look the same. The workout's not always an hour. The meditation is not always 20 minutes. The prayer is not always 20 minutes. Sometimes it's short, but I do it because it keeps me centered and grounded and aligned. And if that sounds a lot to you, I just encourage you to start doing something that's important to you to keep you aligned. The other thing that I do, hi Mark, the other thing that I do is I set strong boundaries. I like to say that I'm the kindest person in the room with the strongest boundaries. So if it's a no, it's a no. I know clearly my mission that I'm on right now, the season of my life that I'm in, and where I'm going. And just because I say no doesn't mean I don't care about that person. Oftentimes we say yes, not because the other person is going to feel bad, but because we're so uncomfortable with how it makes us feel, we can't sit with that discomfort. Did you hear that? It's not about them, it's about us. So get clear on where you're going, and all those things that I said will make it a lot easier to become disciplined and create systems. And
I just appreciate this so much. I'm thinking a lot about the relationship between discipline and love. Like, the discipline is the best when it's because we love the thing, right? And I feel like that's what you're touching on.
yeah, so one of our other beliefs at the Amplified Life Company is disciplines and systems unlock the freedom that you want in life. And so if you're like, no, like, talk to me after. It is that if you're seeking for more freedom, get more discipline and more systems.
And on that note, we need to get you to bed because I think it's just about, you're wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Get you to bed.
How about another round of applause for the amazing Carmen? And if you're interested in learning more about the Amplified Life Company, please visit her website, get a chat with her, set up a consultation, join her community. She's doing really great things. Tonight's next company update is brought to you by these amazing partners. Over the past 10 years, TDS has invested nearly $100 million across Central Oregon in broadband infrastructure, working to future-proof connectivity services by ensuring the most advanced technology and robust network available. Our fiber optic network continues to expand, outpacing new business and residential growth and technology demands. As a way of giving back and to say thank you for the past 10 years serving Central Oregon, TDS recently rolled out a free upgrade to 1 gigabyte internet to all customers and serviceable addresses. This exciting upgrade serves as a testament to the infrastructure upgrades made over the past 10 years and TDS's commitment to providing unmatched connectivity service across Central Oregon. And a few words from our Mansky media sponsor, Mansky Media. As business professionals and owners, I'm sure you all have so much free time. And the very first thing you want to do on top of your already crazy schedule is manage your company's social media, take photos and videos, work on your website and SEO, put together email campaigns, and tackle the other 20 marketing tasks on your to-do list. Sounds about right. Not up for that? Well, That's exactly why Mansky Media is such a great resource. They don't just do marketing, they create strategic marketing solutions that actually grow businesses. Whether it's social media, video production, ad campaigns, or website design, they make sure brands get noticed by the right people. Because the truth is, marketing isn't just about throwing a few posts online and hoping for the best. It's about strategy, creativity, and a little bit of marketing magic. Okay, a lot of marketing magic, but you get the idea. So instead of spending late nights Googling how to go viral or why isn't my website showing up on Google, business owners can let Mansky Media handle it. That way they can focus on what they do best, running their business, while Mansky Media makes sure the right people see it, engage with it, and actually buy from it. Sounds like a much better use of your time, and that's why Mansky Media is here to help. So reach out for a free consultation today. They are awesome. Next up, we are excited to welcome to the stage a company update from Peter Ozelin, host Bending Rules podcast. Peter is an entrepreneur, founder, and company builder. Most recently, he was leading Manzama's strategy and vision. Manzama is the leading provider of news and media aggregation tools for professional services, firms, and organizations. Since their inception in 2010, he has guided the company to achieve double-digit revenue growth year over year in every year of its operations, sustain profitability, and have seen the average annual customer retention rate of over 95% over this time frame. Quite impressive. Many of you know him. Please help me welcome Peter to the stage.
Yes, much better. Okay, thank you. Well, this is what I get for batting cleanup over here, huh? It's thinning out over here pretty quick, and I'm not nearly as dynamic of a speaker as Carmen over there. So sorry about that in advance. Where was she 20 years ago when I was starting my career? It could have been very helpful. Although just listening to her, I can definitely say a lot of her concepts resonate. And in fact, I might choose to weave a couple of those little stories in here as I talk about the Manzama, where I'm at today with that company, which it's ironic they call it a company update because anybody that followed Manzama knows that I haven't been there for 5 years. So this is a slightly different company update if that's what you're expecting. But I do want to touch on that story a little bit because I think it plays into some of the things I'm doing now, which is, I think, probably the more appropriate company update. Shannon, the late night show. I have to talk about that. Please tell me you've been to her late night show way back when with Chelsea. Oh my gosh, Tin Pan Theater. That's 19 years in Bend. That's what that does for you, right? So 19 years in this community. Probably most synonymous as far as my experience in the professional world is with Manzama, which I did run for 10 years. But I've been an entrepreneur all my life. 4 startups over that time and varying degrees of success, that kind of a thing. And Manzama started in 2009. I think we were the first company in Bend to win the Bend Venture Conference when they actually gave you money. So that was cool. Because if I'd won in 2005 or so 6, been great, but the money was, also nice. And so it was great to be part of that community and have them contribute to the vision of Manzama and our success, along with our other investors at that time. Did that for 10 years, and then we realized an exit. And as I said, 4 startups, that being the last one, you begin to ask yourself, how much more do I really want to do right at that point? I've been coming to PubTalk since 1997. The first one I did was not here. I don't think they had them here. It was in Portland. Legal Anywhere was the company I started that time. And I was thinking about Carmen's ROR as she was explaining that and how not being from a family of entrepreneurs, father's a doctor, teachers, and engineers such, but I had, you had to do the ROR thing. And it's just incredible to listen to that and think that there's actually a structure to put that in practice now. And some guidelines on how to do that. I don't know. I think that was just really an awesome presentation. So from the pub talks, which is probably, I always found people are here for 1 of 3 reasons, maybe a combination of those things, right? I mean, there's a presenting company. Good job to the Angle company. That was a cool presentation. They're trying to get their name out in the community, have you learn more about what they're doing, that kind of a thing. Maybe attract some investors. I did that for a time. Never got investors, but I did get an ROR out of that or two, so that was pretty meaningful. The second is, I think people are coming here to share knowledge and lessons learned and things of that nature in hopes of helping you. And obviously networking is probably the third thing, and are there services you can provide people like this? So where do I fall in that category now? Because I'm like I said, the company update, it'd be pretty boring to give because not much has happened in the 5 years. Well, I'm kind of in that phase of the career, which it's more about sharing experiences, learning and giving, right? So Brian and I sat down, Vieira, and had coffee a month or so ago, and I told him about this bending rules being one of the things that I'm doing. And I think, when you're in the transition into whatever next chapter it is you have after running companies and so on, and you start to enter that give back mode. I wanted to, assemble systems and concepts that could be helpful there. And I think the first thing I did was start a company, a principal company, a bit of an update here where I'm the principal, called Achieve One, and I help basically people become better leaders. I mean, if I think back to the 4 startups that I had, and like I said, varying degrees of success, couple decent results, a failure in there, and maybe a break even. I would say probably what made the last one the most successful is I just studied becoming a better leader. And so I thought, well, is there a way to sort of, package and provide that to other entrepreneurs, early stage companies? Because while there's great ideas out there and there's a lot better presentation people to give presentations than myself, that's not what happens. When you get in, the boots are on the ground every day, and you need to lead a team and a company and attract talent to your organization. It's about how you lead in that organization. And so I want to help people be really good at that. I do some angel investing, advisory boards, that sort of thing you might expect. And then the last thing I started doing was doing a podcast called Bending Rules. And this happened about a year and a half ago. And it really started was I was sitting down and talking with a lot of entrepreneurs, right? I mean, I've got a network, not surprisingly, as a result of being an entrepreneur my whole life. And I've got more time to spend with them. And I'm sort of unpacking some of these stories. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, wait a second, go back to when you were 26 and you started your first company. This would have been great to have some of this knowledge. And as part of this, under the give back umbrella, what could I do that provided more scale? I mean, I don't consider myself a media personality. I mean, this is like having a cup of coffee with someone and them telling their entrepreneurial story. I can relate to that, right? I can understand some of the permutations of their journey, the challenges, and things of that nature. So, and in the entrepreneurial code, it is about giving back. And so this became a platform really for me to give back. And of course, I've had a number of bend companies already participate, probably some of which you know and heard, like Hydro Flask. I had Scott Allen on there. And, we kind of, like I said, unpack some of the details of those journeys. G5, Dan Hoban, but these aren't all bend companies. The other thing that motivated me, I think, with the Bending Rules podcast was having time on my hands and, consuming content, that's out there. I just felt there weren't enough stories that where you could relate to what I'll call sort of more the average entrepreneur. I mean, it's pretty easy to be admired by Jeff Bezos or other stories like that. And there's a lot of coverage for those types of things. But I wanted to identify and bring stories forward of entrepreneurs across a lot of spectrums and industries and so forth. So I've had people on that have built restaurant chains, something I'll call solopreneur, someone who's been a real estate person and chose just to go it alone, and how they built up a lifestyle for themselves being an entrepreneur. Of course, a number of technology companies. Of course, I want to interview bend companies and put some of those forward. But mostly I just want to see that help other entrepreneurs. So when they're starting something, they can have a resource to go to, and it doesn't need to be $1 billion exit. So the kind of entrepreneurs you've had on there, some have had those kind of exits, the 500 million, the 250 million, but some of them are a bit smaller, or they've created a lifestyle business and they talk about how they're able to do that. And every entrepreneur is different, right? And every story and every product and every opportunity is different. So not everybody can kind of fit into that unicorn scenario. So that's what Bending Rules is about. And that covers most of my update. I think I want to share one little aspect to the start of Manzama because it relates to the Cameron company and the Amplify and the ROR, because I was being relatively new to Bend at that time, not knowing that many folks here and so forth. I had done some startups, so I felt pretty. I felt fairly confident I could do that here, right? This is going back to 2009 at this point, but so we're on the heels of recession, but I hadn't yet made a decision. I hadn't yet had the idea for Manzama, right? And so I'm doing what we're doing here, right? I'm networking, I'm meeting people, and I get pulled into this one possible company from a mutual friend to maybe potentially invest in that company. And as it turns out, that transaction didn't happen. But one of the people that was associated with contemplating investing didn't really want to do a lot of legwork, so I did most of the legwork. And then I called him up and I said, "Hey, listen, I'm passing on this transaction. Some things had happened towards the end of that transaction, and I just don't feel comfortable going forward with this. But it's been really great to meet you and know you and so forth. And we stay in touch." 7, 8, 9 months later, I come up with the idea of Manzama. Of course, I guess the people that invested first were my family members, but he was like the third person in, and for a significant amount. And then he invested in our second round, and he was one of these people in the community that was, well respected by virtue of his professional career was here in Bend. And so the ROR was amazing. So if I learned something tonight, is that that's really important, especially this day and age where we're hiding behind these a lot. I get contacted by entrepreneurs a lot, and it's over LinkedIn or whatever, and rarely are they kind of saying, you want to do the cup of coffee thing and maybe learn a little bit more. So, anyways, pleasure to be here. Pleasure to give the update. I'm sorry it wasn't a
Oh no, this is
deeper company update.
This is great. I love what you're doing. A round of applause for Peter. I love
Thank you.
What you're doing.
Thank you.
I mean, speaking of we have known each other for very many years. I taught your daughter Grace yoga when she was in preschool. Like, that's what we've been doing here for such a long time. It's so special. She's grown now.
Yeah, she's a junior in high school.
That's
now,
so cool. I know. I'm looking around like, why are these kids so old? Like, what happened? Anyways,
we're not though.
We are forever young. I appreciate so much what you're doing, and I'm wondering how you are finding. You have guests on the show with you. How are you finding them?
First, I think the starting point was the network, and then I have barely done any effort in terms of trying to find guests. And again, in the context of social media and then just sort of introductions, it's come about pretty naturally. In fact, I just published one today that was a Bend company, and he happens to be here somewhere. But Mike Ohling, I just want to give him a shout out because they just closed a $22 million Series A round. Incidentally, they have a company they're building in the legal technology sector, so it's really cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and so I get contact out of the blue, and sometimes it's just other people that have been on the podcast say, "Hey, listen, that was a great experience. I'd like to introduce you to somebody."
Well,
so,
I want to come be on the podcast. I definitely haven't closed a $22 million sale, but I have a few things to share, so we,
absolutely
make that happen.
Yeah.
Well, do any other questions for Peter? I mean, I feel like we need a whole hour with you. Okay, we got one. Yes.
Hey, I know that guy.
Hey, I know that guy.
I had a business I was starting up that I ended up selling. I met Peter at the same small little office building. We were on Font Street.
Yep. Yep. Mark was a co-founder. Yeah.
And it was just very inspiring to see all that they were doing. Late nights and everything like that. They're getting through. And very inspirational to see what was all of it. And then now what you're doing here, and this full connection, because at BDSI, we are putting together transformational relationships, and part of it is putting them over to your content.
Yeah, it's
become a great resource, great tool that they can go back and look and everything. So it's neat to have a connection many years ago with you in that building, and today with.
It's so well said. Yeah, this is Chris Piper from BBSI, and he wants to compliment the podcast. He's sort of watched your career for very many years, or like had offices nearby each other, and now you're like really giving back in such a great way, and I appreciate that so much. And I think it is so important to. I went for a walk with Michelle Mitchell this week, and it's part of our conversation was like, I think we get so stuck on this, like you open a business to sell it or you open a business to scale it, but actually that's just two options.
Yeah.
There's a whole spectrum of ways to run business and live your life as well. So I appreciate that you're showing like many different perspectives.
Absolutely, and finding that quality life, finding that balance. I mean, that doesn't always happen with the unicorn, as we know, and appreciate that, Chris. No, it's it's important to give back as however you can to the community that supported you throughout that time. And like I said, Ben Venture Conference. I mean, we were fortunate enough to win that, and I've tried to help other Ben Venture Conference winners and things of that nature, and collaborate with them, and that is become more my passion at this point.
Well, yeah, and exactly. I would add that it's important to give back in the way that actually is easeful for you to give back and that you enjoy, and that, as Carmen said, is life and energy giving for you. So I applaud this. I think it's so exciting. Well, thank you very much for being here.
Pleasure. Okay, thank you, everybody. Yeah, we'll talk again.
Thank you. Good job. Yes, great to see you. All right, my friends, just a couple quick announcements. Thank you so much, Peter. That was great. I hope you'll come back and maybe you could do a live version of the podcast on stage. Tonight is not possible without our community partnerships. Thank you, COCC. The Center for Business, Industry, and Professional Development at Central Oregon Community College is dedicated to helping local professionals and business owners achieve growth and success. With a strong reputation for high-quality, affordable education, we are committed to making professional development accessible and affordable to Central Oregon. The Center for Business offers practical training across high-impact areas such as leadership and management, project planning, and business resilience. Through the Small Business Development Center, business owners receive expert guidance on essential strategies from financial planning to market expansion at a value that fits your budget. Hands-on workshops prepare you for key certifications such as human resource management, ensuring you're ready for industry demands. Additionally, our apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs across the manufacturing and construction trades prepare individuals for strong, sustainable careers right here in Central Oregon. Whether your goal is to build stronger teams, streamline operations, or develop critical career skills, the Center for Business at COCC is here to support your journey. Explore more at cocc.edu/Center for Business. Thank you so much for coming to our Central Oregon Pub Talk. We look forward to seeing you soon for these upcoming regional EDCO events. The EDCO Prineville Crook County annual luncheon is sold out as it is on Thursday, March 6th. We'll be right back here at Worthy on Thursday, March 20th for the next Central Oregon Pub Talk. And you don't want to miss our Sun River Lapine annual luncheon, which is on Friday, April 4th. Get your tickets while you can. More information on these events can be found at edcoinfo.com/events. Special thanks again to Worthy Brewing and Hand in Hand Productions for making it happen again and again. We're so grateful. I'm Shannon Kelly. I'll see you next time. Thank you.